Ogenmatter, 2018, October 14th, Bethany Terry, speech 205. Women have always been a vital role in our society. They are the reason why men can go off and have wars and win wars, because they are the backbones to their families and to their households. Women are the reason why we've been able to win the wars, going back to the Revolutionary War in America or even the Crusades back in the 1300s. Women's involvement in the war has been significant, as they've been such known as medics, selling bonds, and the head of households, and running the economy back to World War II. Going back to the Revolutionary War for America, they were served as the U.S. Army as traditional cooks, seamstresses, and nurses. Betsy Ross, known as one of the most famous women of all time, knitted the American flag as we know it, going back to the 13 colonies. She's the reason why we know the symbol is America. A male didn't do that, a woman did for the war. They actually would disguise themselves to go into other camps and be spies and try to persuade the other men and influence them. They had very inadequate housing and living locations, but they did it through their grit. Going to the Civil War, I got a site from the womenofservice.com, and they told me that there was more than 400 women that disguised themselves for the Union and Confederate armies. However, during that time, they served a lot of non-traditional roles. They supported the war efforts such as being nurses and aides. They didn't do that before. They were just known to be cookers and cleaners and baby takers, honestly. They were much more upfront. They were forced to adapt to the vast societies, as the men have been dying off rapidly, as the Civil War had the most deaths out of any American war that we know of. Some famous women going back to history is Susan King Taylor and Dr. Mary E. Walker. Mary E. Walker was the first one to be awarded the Medal of Honor, and Susan King Taylor was the first African American to teach a school during the South, and that was during the Civil War. So for an African American woman to do it, it was revolutionary. And without those two women, we wouldn't have such schools that we have today, such as in South Carolina. Actually, during the American-Spanish War, the women were able to have Army Norse Corps, and that's what we get from the Red Cross today. Fun fact, I got that from an article of, it was the Birmingham Gazetteer 2017, such as from Dita H. Kinney and Anita McKee. They were the head surgeons and the superintendents of that time, going back to the early 1900s. Going to World War I, their service had helped propelled the passage for themselves. They would not be able to succeed for the men, as the men from ages 21 to 69 served overseas. The women ran the households, they cooked, they cleaned, they did the jobs, they played baseball, they did everything that was asked of them. They single-handedly ran this country while the men of importance were off. Their efforts were served very well until Armistice Day, but more than 35,000 women had served during the military of World War I. World War II, it was the free a man to fight. There was the women of Air Force service pilots, or known as WASP, as we get the term, and they were the first ones to actually fly American aircraft. Bless you. They were able to perform an array of critical Army services and to free a man to flight. During this time, we actually had rose to 60,000 nurses and 1,000 flew aircraft around, which was revolutionary. All in all, we come to today where we have Afghanistan and Iraq and the Ghazni War, where we have women who are now corporals, generals, and other leaders. We even actually had a woman run for president. Sadly, she lost, but she still ran, and which was revolutionary. All in all, women are such a vital important piece of our history that we cannot succeed without them, and we will not be able to see further into the future without them. I thank you for coming today, as women could not be here without us, and we could not be there without women.